Hey guys, this is our first podcast. We're calling Retail Therapy. My name is Nowell Mateo. I'm joined with my co-host Matthew Vicarious.
That's me.
The concept of this show is we both work in retail, and we just want to be able to catch up whenever we meet up once a week or so. Just be able to shoot the shit, and we're both giant dorks, so we're probably going to be talking about movies or video games, TV shows, that sort of thing. We want this show to be just a conversation amongst friends, because we don't want it to be too descriptive or anything like that. So, moving forward, I guess what's going on with you?
Obviously, E3 has been going on all week, so it's been a crazy week for everybody with in the video game industry, which we are both in.
Yep.
So, lots of announcements, lots of rumors, lots of speculation going on. And you've been publishing on your WordPress.
Yeah,
which is
I've
awesome.
been working on a blog. I just started it about a week or so ago, and so far I've already published 6 articles. Working on a couple other ones right now. I want to have them all done before the end of this week. So
that way they're still topical.
Yeah, exactly. That way they're still newsworthy. I wrote up coverage from each big company's conferences. So I've done EA, Microsoft, I did Ubisoft. I'm working on Ubisoft right now, and I did Bethesda. I still have to do Sony and Nintendo. So those will be probably done in the next couple of days.
So in the format that you're doing it in with WordPress, are you able to see who's viewing them and how many people are viewing them?
I can't see specifically who unless they are on WordPress as well as users.
Right.
But I can see the stats on how many views I've gotten on a given article and what sites they've been shared from.
Okay, so you can actually so for me, if I go through my email subscription, which I did, so it'll say this was from an email subscription, or that a one view was from a subscriber.
Yeah, it'll be from a subscriber. So for example, I have my WordPress linked to my Facebook and my Twitter.
Right.
So as soon as I publish an article, it goes live on WordPress. It automatically publishes to it posts on Facebook and posts to Twitter.
Okay.
And then from there, anybody that clicks that link that I posted it'll be reflected on my actual WordPress account.
Awesome. Yeah, because I was wondering how that would work, because I don't have a portfolio, and I was obviously too lazy to set up a WordPress thing. I was like, yeah, I'll just hit subscribe and just read it, and then tell you.
Yeah. Just to follow somebody, that's a lot of extra steps if you want to create a WordPress account just to follow somebody.
Yeah, so, it's easy for me to just go hit subscribe, get your email when your posts go live, and then obviously I'll see it on Facebook too, because I'll get a notification there or whatever. But that's cool though. I was wondering how that worked, because I know a lot of places you can see traction in terms of clicks and things like that.
And then so I'm currently only using the free plan, which gets me a WordPress domain. So my site is pressstartforsingleplayer.wordpress.com. But if I notice that I'm going to start to get more followers or subscribers, then I can upgrade my account to a yearly plan, and I would actually be able to remove WordPress from the domain entirely. So it would just be pressstartforSingleplayer.com.
Oh, cool. So they would just host it, and then you would
eventually pay to have that domain.
Oh, okay, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's ultimately that's my goal. I would love to be able to do that. So just want to spread that news. Yeah,
that's awesome. And for me, it's been nice, because I've been working most of these days, and we haven't been getting the coverage at our stores, which it's been kind of either bits and snippets here, or YouTube on a lunch break.
Exactly. Or you get a random customer coming in to oh man, did you guys see that thing that happened?
Yeah, and I'm like, I've been here. I'm sorry. I wish I could just be hunkered down behind the counter and just watching. But it's nice being able to just at night or in the morning before or after work, just to be able to read your articles and kind of be like, okay, here's the highlights. Here's what people are going to be asking about. So it's really nice. And it's awesome because, you're going to school for journalism.
Yep.
So it's nice to see you're implementing those skills in real time.
Exactly.
Because, I feel like a lot of times when people go to college, they're not actually implementing a skill. They're getting the degree, the piece of paper, and hey, I did it.
I did a thing,
but not actually applying those. I mean, obviously we have friends that have done that.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. It's just cool to see you actually putting something out there and getting it done. I mean, kind of like this. We've talked about this
for years.
Probably, I mean, since we started listening to podcasts, which you started when you were in San Diego.
Yep.
And the concept to me was kind of lost because I hadn't listened to them before.
I had never been interested in podcasts for quite a while. Because, I mean, I had only ever associated podcasts with, like, iPod and iPhone and stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of a thing exclusive to that.
Right. I thought there was that barrier there because we're both Android users. I figured, how do we get a hold of this?
Exactly.
I don't have it. Because what I used to do is I had an iPod Classic, and I would literally, when I started, I would go to iTunes, subscribe, and sync my iPod to download podcasts and then use that.
I mean, thinking about it now, it very well could have started with Apple Podcasts, iPod.
I think it did.
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think some of the other formats like Google Play Music, Stitcher, and the new one Laughable, which is for like comedians.
Yeah.
I think they just kind of went. They're like branched off. Like let's find where we can like kind of strain this out because if you go onto any podcast thing and you just browse,
good luck.
Yeah, like and obviously how are you going to choose which is good
exactly
unless there's somebody saying, hey, you're interested in this person,
exactly
you're probably going to like this.
iTunes does a good job of curating content for people that are interested in specific things. Same thing with Stitcher. That's the one I've been using. It's funny for Stitcher. I was introduced to podcasts through a classmate in one of my speech classes down in San Diego. During his speech was about the significance of podcasts for him and what that meant for him, and like it was funny because that speech actually inspired me. Like, oh man, I want to check out this app because in his speech he mentioned an app that he uses, and I've been using that app ever since, and man, it's really crazy like how much it's kind of changed my views on things and how I can be able to listen to content in ways I wouldn't before.
Yeah, you were actually the one that introduced me to the app because I was same as you thinking, oh, I don't have an iPhone.
Yeah. So
how am I going to get access to these? And you're like, yeah, download Stitcher on your phone. It's free, and then you can search what you want to listen to and listen to it. And I was like, oh wow. And I think now podcasts they definitely outpace my entertainment content.
Oh yeah.
Than like movies or TV shows by a long shot because I can listen to an hour and a half, 2 hours, in like a couple days, or even in a single day if I'm doing I'm doing yard work.
Yep.
I mean, if I'm driving, which my commute's, a little over an hour every day.
Yeah.
I'm going to work. So I mean, or before opening.
Exactly. Or yeah, like if we're doing like any type of marketing or inventory, podcasts are amazing for that.
Yeah, because it does sometimes feel like it's cheating life when you're like doing something inane, like doing the dishes, and you put on a podcast and you're like, I could just have silence right now and it'd be all right. But why do that when you don't have to?
Exactly.
And it's cool, like you're saying, getting that content because you're getting to see kind of a behind the curtains of a lot of people who you would normally see maybe, like the dudes from IGN. You see them on their show, which is, there's a corporation behind it. So obviously they're going to be a little bit more reserved. They're going to be a little bit more filtered. I feel like that might be, it's always cool to see like how they are in real life. I mean, and same with like comedians, like, you see them in a half an hour, 1 hour special. It's so cool to see how their everyday life goes. At least for me.
Yeah, like we both follow Kevin Smith, and being able to see his shows and then listening to him just record a podcast, just having a conversation. It's crazy how different it is. One thing that I think is interesting about podcasts is usually you're limited in terms of like consuming your content by the medium that you're consuming it with. So with TV or whether it be movies or games or whatever, it's both an audio and visual experience.
Right.
And so you got to put all your attention into it. Whereas a podcast, like you said, you can be doing the dishes or doing yard work, and you can just listen, and it, depending on your ability to multitask while listening to things, you could be just fine.
Yeah, shit. I've been playing Injustice 2, and because there's like little to no like dialogue or anything meaningful in it, I've either had a podcast like in my ear or just out loud and turn the volume down on the TV. Because like it's a game where I'm not following a story, I'm not engaged, I'm just fighting. So I've literally been just doing that, where I'm like, I'll have like a podcast going and playing a game. So it's kind of nerve-wracking getting into it, because it's like it's now become such a big deal for me.
Yeah,
it's like it's crazy.
No, it's fun. This is probably the second. This is the second like podcast that I've been a part of.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really fun, kind of coming back to it, because I haven't done it in a little over a year now. So this is a lot of fun, and I want to keep doing it. Of course.
And I like the idea of having a bunch of people in on it, but at the same time, there's some that I'll listen to where people start talking over each other.
Yeah.
And it gets muddled, and you're like, oh, this is a little bit too much.
That you'll find that is a product of the experience of the people that are doing the podcast.
Right. Because everybody's excited to talk.
Yeah, everyone wants to talk.
Of course.
But if you like us, we're a tight knit group of friends, and we'll have some of our other friends on here, of course. Which I'm really looking forward to.
The funniest people I know, like I mean, even including like comedians that I follow, listen to their podcasts, so I again see them from behind the scenes. I feel like my friends are on par, or sometimes funnier than those people, because like spend a weekend or with something with them, and I'm not sick of them.
Well, that's like when I shared the Comedy Button with you, and I started listening to that for months on my own, and I was like, I need my friends to hear this, because these guys crack me up so bad, and they have the same style of humor as we do, and I know that Matt and Jason will appreciate it.
And Paz.
Yeah.
Granted, it might not be their cup of tea to listen to, because they're kind of coming from a gamer standpoint. I guess Paz is like that, but Jason and I are in deep.
You guys have listened to the whole thing already.
Yeah, we're both Patreon subscribers. I'm willing to kick them some money just because I enjoy it. And I've heard like Brizo did he was a guest spot on a podcast.
That's awesome.
And this was a couple of years ago. And I was coming back from Rainfest, and I was like, you know what? I'll pop this on SoundCloud and check it out. And I was like, oh, that's it? Like, it's just them shooting the shit, talking about Labatt Blue and and just like at the time, like Tinder dates. And I'm just like,
God.
I'm like, this is so far outside of my world that it's kind of funny to like hear it talked about, and then just kind of it really raw. I don't know. It just kicks me. But so let's
well, real quick, one thing that excites me about the fact that we're doing this podcast finally after so long about talking about it is we both agree that we think our friends are the funniest people in the world.
True, yeah.
And we can kind of share that with people all day long as much as we want. They're like, you guys are dumb. You're a bunch of idiots. Like, none of this makes sense. It's so out of context. But, once we get our friends on here, and we can tell those stories.
Right. And I know we keep going back to other podcasts or people that we admire. But like with Kevin Smith, his thing was when he was coming up, he wanted to expose the world to his friends, Brian Johnson, Walter Flanagan, and they have their own podcast, Tell 'em Steve Dave, and it is so funny, and they are so great. And I'm just like, I want that. Yeah. I want that for my friends. I want people to know just how outrageous some of the things that people say. And I'm not trying to build them up or trying to like you set them up for failure.
Yeah.
I just think that some of the conversations that we'll have just in passing are just like...
Yeah. Like Jason, for example. That dude never talks. But he says when he opens his mouth, sometimes it's the funniest shit I've ever heard. He's so dry and it cracks me up.
It's ridiculous. And then some of the things that he gets into are like mic level, where you're like, why are you talking about Chuck Tingle and his Velociraptor gay sex parties? He's like, oh, it's on Amazon. I bought it for 89 cents.
Like, why?
Well, why'd you do that? I just wanted to see what it was about. Okay, sure. That's goofy. All right. Out there, you have kids.
Yeah.
Should you be doing that? I feel like you should like get it, like take them away. No, I'm just kidding, but yeah. So the idea of the show is retail therapy. We both work in the public, so we see hundreds of people a day, and it gets a little draining because you have to put out that energy, and a lot of times you don't get that energy back, and we have to get a little bit of a recharge from each other, and it's kind of funny. We'll get interactions, and we're not going to say where we work just because we don't want to anybody to say anything or have it be an issue. But anybody that's worked retail knows if you work behind a counter, as a cashier, whatever, you see some of the best of humanity, and most of the time you see the worst of humanity. Yeah. I'm sure. Probably this week you could probably tell me of an interaction that you've had where it's like, are you kidding me right now? Like, this is real? Yeah. So, have you had anything this week?
I've had some. Nothing.
Or just recently.
Just recently. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. One that comes to mind. I'll have to think about that because there's a bunch and they all tend to mesh together sometimes.
Oh, I know. I'm now that we're doing this, I'm gonna start like taking notes at work and be I'm gonna write this down,
Absolutely.
or I'm gonna bust out my phone and in the memo pad and be like, customer, did this and that, and then be like, so I can share because it'll be great because we have some of the same interactions, and it's always just like, are you kidding me?
I do find myself at work sometimes. I'll be helping people out on the sales floor, and then I'll overhear conversations between two people
or
a group of people about something that they're just absolutely wrong about.
It's crazy that a lot of times for me I'll have to interject at least a little bit, and if they're not receptive to my interjection, I'll usually just leave them alone. Yeah. Because there's no caring stupid. A lot of times they're just literally going to be so bullheaded. No. This is how it is. It's like, come on, dude.
That's not how it works.
Get into the real life and just figure it out. But I can't really think of anything either. Well, actually I can. So one of our regulars, he comes in and he sometimes gets paid early because he gets direct deposit. And this regular, he is developmentally disabled, so he does have an issue with boundaries and talking. But he comes in and he'll be in there for hours, and this week is no exception. He was in the store from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So 4 hours of him standing around, and if they're right,
oh my god, so it hurts my head.
Yeah, so exactly. So if there's not another customer in the store, he is talking at us, and until about a little after 1, I'm by myself. I can't do anything. I can't escape. I can't leave. I can't get out. I can't go anywhere. So I'm stuck having to listen to him. And you can't tell him to leave. You can't tell him to do this and that. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. And he's telling me about all these E3 things that he's going to do. Like he wants to buy. I'm like, yeah, I get it, man. That's cool. But, oh man, it's tough. It's tough to keep your cool because you want to be nice. He can't really help himself. But at the same time, it's so draining.
Yeah. It's just exhausting trying to get your work done while somebody's just in your ear the whole time.
Right. And you can multitask, all you want and do that. But if there's something that takes you away, you can't leave because you can't leave them alone. You gotta entertain them because you don't want them to get mad. You don't want them to get upset. So it's that balance. Yeah. And especially with E3, he's so excited about all the new stuff coming out, losing his mind, and it's like. And my poor new guy, he works he works Tuesday, Thursday usually because that's when I need him for coverage. And lately, every day he's worked, this regular has come in, and he just gets punished. And I'm like, I promise this is not like a hazing thing where it's like, all right, now you got to deal with them. Peace, and I'm gonna go on lunch break. No, it just happens to come out that way. But he's a good sport about it, and he's good with it. So I mean he's worked in the business long enough, so he knows the idea of a customer that can't really shut their mouth. So
one of the things that's been driving me nuts this week specifically is just how jaded some of our customers can get when it comes to just gaming in general, just the industry. It's like with the different conferences that have gone on, people are just so set like being fanboys. Like, oh man, Sony sucked this year. Their conference was just garbage. Nothing came out. And you hear the same argument about any other conference as well. But it's just crazy to me that people are so close-minded about experiencing things.
Right. Yeah, and the thing that I've seen, and I've been doing this for about 10 years. The first few years were pretty part-time, so I wasn't deep in it. Mm-hmm. But I've been in it for the past like 5 years, like super deep. There's a lot of people expect the world. They expect it to be specifically catered to them. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think it might be the advent of social media being so prominent in everyone's life, and all these echo chambers and people going, yeah, what about me? What about me? What about me? And it's like, not everything's going to be for you.
Yeah.
It's like, I love that all this stuff's coming out, but a lot of the stuff, definitely not for me.
Yeah, same here.
Forza 7 looks spectacular, gorgeous, realistic. Not for me. I don't play racing games. I'm bored with it. You love them.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, you get into it. You love like tuning the cars and like seeing all the new parts.
I'm bad at it, but I like doing it.
But you'll spend time on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's the same thing like with Paz and Jason. They'll spend hours customizing their cars in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I blow my brains out. No thanks. Or character customizations. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm like default, yeah. And then I go.
You just want to play the game.
I want to play the game. Yeah. But for me, I have that option just to skip and go to it. I can skip Forza 7, and who cares?
Exactly. You don't let that affect anybody else.
Right.
That you don't like the game.
So it's always weird to me when people take a dump on something that they think is an injustice towards them.
Yeah.
But it's like, your money is a vote. So if you don't want to vote for that thing, don't buy it.
Yeah, just don't buy it.
It's like the people that complain about Call of Duty, but they buy it every year. It's like, what are you doing? If you don't like the direction they're going in,
stop buying it.
Save your $60 and, either Redbox a copy or, buy it used, secondhand, whatever. But just don't pay them the initial cash. And, if you have to, send them an email, send them a letter, say, hey, I would love to get your game, but to me this does not seem something for me.
Well, like the outcry about last year's Infinite Warfare Legacy bundle, which came with Modern Warfare Remastered.
Oh Jesus!
Just how everybody are they ever going to release it by itself? No, they won't.
No,
because they did it on purpose. Because if they released it by itself, nobody would buy Infinite Warfare. And that's not to say that the game is bad, because I actually played Infinite Warfare, the campaign, and it's so far really fun.
Yeah, pretty much my whole staff, we got free copies.
Yeah.
And they were like, this game is actually surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Like, they played the campaign,
campaign's solid.
The zombies in Spaceland, and they're like, yeah, it's solid. It's a good game.
Mm-hmm. But people just expect, they're like, oh man, they'll release it by itself. It's like, no, because then nobody would buy the Infinite Warfare. They just spent 3 years working on this game, and it's not just they spent 3 years working on this game. That's people's lives that have been enveloped by developing this game.
Oh yeah, and I've only heard and seen a little bit of what goes into it, and it is grueling.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have some friends that are they're going to school for developing, and just to make the smallest little thing, just a character model that doesn't move at all.
Right. To make a door explode.
Yeah, door exploder. Just the smallest little thing that you can think of that you would just take for granted takes so much work.
Yeah, it's insane. And then I try to tell people, listen, you understand what this would do for the people who shilled out the $80 for that Legacy Edition. They spent the extra $20 to get that Call of Duty remaster. Mm-hmm. If they were to go, here you go, $20 even if you don't have Infinite Warfare, how unfair would that feel for the people that spent the $80 and they're like, wait a minute, I could have just waited and got this for $20. Like,
exactly.
How's that fair? Again, it goes into the whole, well, these things are completely optional. You don't have to buy any of this stuff.
That's like when they do a game of the year, or sorry, when they come out with a game and then there's a season pass.
Yes.
And they're both full price when the game launches.
Right.
And then you get, a crowd of people that get mad when they release a game of the year edition. And it's like, oh man, how come they get it for like half as much?
Right.
Like, well, because you waited a year or two and they played it, they wanted it on day one.
Right.
So, like, that was their option. They wanted to have it as soon as available so they could play it.
Yeah.
You wanted to be able to save your money or whatever reason, but now you get all the same content that they've had for this long, and you don't have to pay the premium price for it.
True.
So, like, both parties win depending on your given situation.
It's, and the phrase time is money is a thing where if you don't want to wait for a game to come, to become cheaper, because eventually pretty much every game will become cheaper than when it first released, with the exception of collector's items that will either increase in value or stay flat. But they've had those years to play the game, and sure, like Destiny's a great example. I mean, the majority of the gameplay now is DLC.
Yeah.
But anybody that complains about that, it's like, well, what about World of Warcraft? What about any other MMO that's done expansions? The first piece of that, you had that initial buy-in of however much it costs, probably $40, $50 back, when PC games were significantly cheaper than console games at launch. And now you have $40 expansion, $40 expansion, $40 expansion, $40 expansion. So, sure, now you get to pay less because you could buy the battle chest, or with Destiny, you could buy the collection with the full game plus all the DLCs, and you only spent $50-$60. Great.
I spent like over $200 on Destiny.
Right.
But that's because I played it from beginning to now.
Yeah. So you got to see the hiccups, the poor choices of the legendary marks going from having specifics to a consolidated mark system, so you're not having to go collect specific things.
Yeah.
And things like that, which for me, I played at launch because I like Bungie and I wanted to support them. Even though I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be a game for me, I'm still gonna spend my $60, and if not, for me, whatever, no big deal. But and then going back into it after all of the polishing and cleaning up, I'm like, whoa, this game is
when we played it again, that was after Taken King came out.
You and I started playing once the Rise of Iron came out.
That's right.
And getting back into it, I was like, oh man, this is super fun. Like, this is why people have been playing for so long. But again, the loudest voices are always going to be the fewest people. They're going to come in, oh man, it's bullshit. I had to pay, $35 for the first two expansions, and I had to pay $40 for the Taken King, and then I had to pay $30 for Rise of Iron, and it's like, but you didn't want to wait. You could have waited.
Yeah.
And anybody could have waited.
Absolutely.
So I mean, like when Rise of Iron came out, people are spending $60. They're getting the game plus all the DLCs, including Rise of Iron. Why not? Why wouldn't you do that? And the guys at Destiny, I guess I should say guys at Bungie, they understand, hey, this is a thing that happens. Let's give these new people a low buy-in cost because they've waited this long. Let's give it to them for a discounted rate. And then they're going to bring more people into their fold. And of course, now Destiny 2 coming out in a couple months, the odds of those people playing that game are much higher. Yeah. So
I'm excited for that. That's just one of many games I'm excited for.
Well, I know, yeah. I mean, and this happens every year when the reveals come out, especially the ones that there was no word on beforehand, like Anthem. Holy shit,
dude, that game looks so good.
I've only seen the teaser for it, and I was just like,
6-minute video or whatever.
No, not even that. I saw like a 30-minute clip, and I was just like, what the is this?
Oh yeah, that quick 30-second clip
where it's the
shows the wall with the big beast thing,
and then the exosuit fly and then dives underwater, and I'm like, wait, what?
Oh yeah,
that's crazy. Like I love BioWare, and someone said that it's the team that worked on Andromeda isn't the same team that worked on the Mass Trilogy.
Yeah,
it's a different team. So but the team working on Anthem is actually the team that worked on the Mass Trilogy.
Oh, okay.
So because at first I was like, oh man, BioWare did Andromeda. Still haven't played it yet because I'm so nervous that it's gonna like my expectations are gonna be super high.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna be just like disappointed by it.
So you haven't touched it at all?
No, not at all.
Okay, so
I've installed it.
I think you'd actually be coming in at a good time.
Okay.
I got it on launch day. I personally love that game.
Okay.
From all of its quote unquote problems, dude, that game's so much fun. So a lot of the issues people had with it were the one that you hear about the most is the animations. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that serious.
I mean, Mass Effect's always kind of had that. They've had goofy faces, especially in the human characters.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean,
they've always looked weird because you have to be able to customize your character to look however you want, and then they have to use that same like wireframe character model with a different facial feature to still be able to say the same words.
It's tricky to mocap every kind of facial creation that you can think of.
Yeah.
Which, again, is why I go default. Because odds are better that
I started the game with a custom character, and it didn't seem right based on the customization I set. And also the voice didn't seem like it matched with the character. So I was like, you know what, screw this. I just started again. I was like an hour in. I'll just start a new game, and I'll play as default. And I had a blast with that. Like,
yeah.
So
it you weren't taken out of the experience like you were when the animations were kind of goofy.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
But yeah, it's one of those things where, but it makes me excited because I love the Mass Effect trilogy, and I know you did. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at
Mass Effect is in my top 3 franchises.
Yeah, Mass Effect. You got BioShock. You got Fallout. For you, Metroid is
Metroid, Legend of Zelda, and Mass Effect. Yeah, those are my top 3.
I mean, those are all solid.
And then actually, Destiny has made it into my top 4.
Okay,
is my number 4, just because mostly because the sheer amount of time I put in that game.
It's hard to deny.
Yeah,
it's hard to deny when you've dumped so much time into a game.
I've got like 1,000 hours in that game.
Oh yeah, like for me, Monster Hunter is definitely in there because try on the Wii. 3 Ultimate for the Wii U, and then 4 Ultimate for the 3DS. I've collectively put in probably 1,500 hours of gameplay into those games, and I still never, quote unquote, completed them.
Yeah,
I never got it all done, but it's still really cool. Monster Hunter Worlds again.
Monster Hunter Worlds gonna be awesome. We'll be playing that together.
Yeah, it's so cool. This time of year is always just so. It's so neat because the lead up is always it's the calm before the storm. There's not a lot going on, not a lot of games coming out.
Yeah.
Not a lot of there's a little bit of buzz. It's here and there. There's rumors. There's speculation, and then people are always like, so what's coming out? What's coming out? What's coming out? And it's like,
give me like a week and a half.
Hold up. E3 is middle of June. That's when all the big stuff's gonna come out. The stuff you're waiting for the holiday season. That's when it's gonna come out. And it always cracks me up. When's the new Call of Duty? November. It's November every year. It's the same.
It's the same fucking time every year.
It's like Christmas. You can expect it to be the first or second week of November every year without fail. And I'm just like, how long have you been playing this? I mean, again, 10 years in the business. I know that. You know that.
Yeah.
Most people that are
you'd
fans.
also assume that every Call of Duty fan, like hardcore fan that's been buying every single one, would know this by this point. It shouldn't be a surprise. They're going to announce it in between March and May.
Yep.
And it's going to come out that November.
Right. And they're going to announce a season pass.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Every year.
I mean, and getting back to season passes and the complaints about it, it's funny that a lot of people get upset by them. Sure, some of the season passes for certain games are kind of weak. It's like, wait, what?
Batman's is a pretty big offender.
Yeah, I don't think
it's an awesome game,
yes.
And the content in it was fun,
right? But
not $50 fun,
right? And also, there's certain companies that when they come out with the season pass, it feels like they are taking content away from the finished product to release later to make more out of it.
Yeah,
but. Flip side of that, Fallout 4 came out with a $30 season pass, came out with so much extra content.
They actually upped the price.
They had to up the price because they're like, we're putting out full-fledged, like, almost full games.
Uncharted just did the same thing, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't get the season pass
really?
When it came out. Season pass was $20.
Yeah.
and the new Lost Legacy expansion is not even a DLC because it's a standalone game. It's $40. And if you try and go on the network to find the...
Wait, so Lost Legacy is part of the season pass?
Yeah. If you had the season pass... You got the free copy last year.
Whoa, wait, so that includes the season pass. So that's going to include the Lost Legacy.
Yeah, you're
Jesus.
You got a digital copy of the game, right?
Yeah, I had no idea that. I thought this was a standalone game and that it was going to be.
You can buy it retail,
right,
for $40 totally. Standalone. But it's crazy that they, rather than making it like a smaller kind of expansion, they are making it like almost a full game.
Jesus. That's insane.
It's like they've said it's like at least 10 hours or so, and if you had the season pass when they first sold it for like $20, it's included because they said that you'll get the multiplayer DLC plus whatever single player DLC.
Right.
And at that time they didn't plan for this DLC to be so big.
Right.
So that's why they took it off the network. You can't find it there anymore.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I think Sony did that with The Last of Us as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Where they had the season pass was basically a discounted rate buying everything a la carte. Once the content came out, or the final pack was set to release, they removed the season pass, so that way the people who were early adopters were rewarded for that.
Exactly.
Which I also feel like that should be something that happens, but I'm not going to expect every company to do that. They are going to probably get my dollar based off that. I know that I can trust Bethesda. The fact that I spent $30 on the Fallout 4 season pass, they bumped the price up to $50, but they still honored anybody that paid that lower price.
Gets all the content.
And they also gave everybody a heads up.
Yeah.
It was crazy. They were
you had like a month to get it.
Yeah, they're like, hey, just so you know, in 30 days, we're raising the price of the season pass from $30 to $50 because we're adding so much extra content.
They did it like in any way you could possibly consume that media. You saw it. So like if you owned Fallout, I'm pretty positive that on the main screen it said DLC, notice DLC season pass will be going up in price as of this date, so get it now. Instead
of arbitrarily just going, we should probably up the price of this now because we're going to, add so much more to it that we need the money for it, or we feel that it's worth this much.
So that's a good example.
Right.
Those are a couple good examples. There are also horrible examples. Injustice 1 is one offender that got me.
What was that one about?
Injustice 1, they had a season pass, which came with, that one was when it was just supposed to be all the characters coming out.
Right.
It was supposed to come with the next 3 or 4 fighters.
Right.
And they did that. And then after those 4 came out, I was like, oh, cool, it's done. And then they released 3 more that were not included with the season pass.
Was that Injustice or Mortal Kombat X?
Injustice 1.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat X. See, at least they said
Season 1.
You get Season Pass 1, Season Pass 2.
Okay.
And then you got 4 characters in each pack. But Injustice 1 was you get all the characters, and then they came out with Zatanna and Martian Manhunter.
Yep.
And I think one other one.
Was Lobo included?
Lobo was the first one. It was like Lobo, Batgirl, Zod, and Scorpion.
Okay.
And I think we're all part of the season pass.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, cool, that's all of them. Got all of them. And then Zatanna came out and Martian Manhunter. I never got those characters because I was like, well, fuck, I bought the season pass and I'm getting punished for it.
Yeah, that's shitty, but...
Yeah, that's a bad example. A lot of people were like really bitter about Star Wars Battlefront season pass.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, going back to where we were talking about, not all games are for everybody.
Right.
Like, I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I like multiplayer shooters. Mm-hmm. Star Wars Battlefront 1 was everything I wanted. Granted, there was more things that they could have done, but I wasn't upset that they weren't in it, like space battles.
Right.
A lot of people thought space battles were this super amazing thing, but they tend to forget that those matches were boring as shit. They were for me, because I found that you were one of 2 people during those space battle matches in Battlefront 2 on PS2 and original Xbox. You were either the guy infiltrating the starships by yourself and throwing grenades and firing your blaster and waiting for the recharge station to refill your ammo and just trying to knock out the generator from inside the ship over and over by yourself, or you're the dude only flying around outside. So
would you actually be doing anything like flying around? Like shooting down like TIE fighters and stuff?
So yeah, like when you're doing the outside stuff, you're doing dogfights, you're knocking out like the shield generators on the ship.
Right.
And you could do that, but it was usually more efficient to infiltrate the ship and knock out the core from inside.
Right.
But everybody only wanted to fly.
Sure. It's space battle. You want to be flying around in space.
But the whole concept of that those matchups was it's supposed to be like, oh man, it's seamless from flight to foot.
Right.
So you can fly into a ship, into the cargo hold or whatever, or the hangar bay, and just get on foot, kill everybody, and wipe it out from the inside.
Right.
Or you can fly around and be more meticulous, time consuming, knock out shield generators, and deal with dogfights.
Right.
But like nobody ever wanted to do it the smart way.
Right, because it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
And that's
well, but if you like, there was a very few matches where I'd play, and then other people would join me. Like if people just joined me inside, we'd knock out the ship way sooner.
Mm-hmm.
It would be so much more fun. Right. But instead, I was by myself.
And they're just
grenades
whizzing around.
Yeah, dying, just seeing the ticker. Like, oh, he died. It's dogfights. Okay, cool. This is fun.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was one of the things that people requested. They're adding it number 2, which is awesome.
Right.
Good for them.
I mean, it is nice when they will listen to feedback. It's always unfortunate that sometimes the feedback comes in such a negative thing. It's like, give me what I fucking want.
Yeah.
And you're like,
this game's trash because it didn't have the one mode I wanted.
Like, Jesus Christ. Like, you knew what the game was going into it. They were very transparent about what was going to be included in it. Yeah. If you didn't do your research, that's on you. I mean, that's like buying a computer, expecting it to play all your games.
My computer's brand new. Why won't it play my game?
Oh my God! Do you not know how specs work? How minimum user requirements work? I mean, that's why I don't PC game, because I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah, I don't want to update my shit all the time.
Yeah,
I do have a PC that can run games.
Yeah,
but I built it like 4 years ago now.
It's out of date.
I can run games on it, but I can't run it on the settings I used to.
Right, but you can run your PS4 games.
Yeah.
On your, if you had a Pro in 4K, or at least upscaled.
So the offset on price on PC to console is like, yeah, PC has Steam where games are dirt cheap.
Right.
Console, they're going to be standard price most of the time. So they're almost evened out, I think. I mean, I'm going to be honest and transparent. I didn't do very much research on it.
Right.
But I feel like the price evens out by upgrading your PC every couple years versus paying the full price for games on console.
Right. Having a console, paying, whatever it ends up being, $400 or whatever, and paying full price $60 for the games. But I mean, you're going to pay that price if you're on PC and you're on Steam.
If you get a game at
day
launch,
one, you're going to be paying that full price. They may offer some sort of pre-order discounts. I think they do.
Usually like $40 or $50 instead of $60.
Whatever. But I mean, again, it's like you say, like you're going to have to upgrade your graphics card. You're going to have to upgrade your your GPU and all that. And how much you're going to be spending there? If you want top of the line, you're going to be spending way more than another console. Yeah. Whereas
I built my PC for $1,200.
Yeah, you could have bought 4 Xbox Ones right now.
Yeah.
Just have them boop, 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 just littered throughout your house for no reason.
Yeah.
Who cares? But it's, I don't know. It's just kind of funny the things that people get into. But yeah. So, yeah.
Any other games from E3 that you're? So what have you seen so far of E3? I mean, you read.
I saw the Xbox One X conference when I saw that live.
Okay, you watched that.
I was at work. I waited for it to start. Pulled it up on YouTube. I think it might have been either direct from Microsoft or it was actually IGN. But when they were like they out the gate, they were just like, we're gonna show you what Project Scorpio is gonna be.
Showing Forza 7 was the smartest thing they could have done.
I like the name. It's concise.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might get a little hairy over the phone.
Yeah.
Xbox One X versus Xbox One S.
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh. Granted, most people call it the Slim anyway, so that'll be easy.
Yeah.
Do you want the Slim or the X?
Yeah.
Problem solved.
One thing that's neat when you see it on paper, I don't know if you knew this, Xbox One X as an acronym is Xbox.
Yeah.
Which is neat. It's just unfortunate you can't explain that verbally.
Yeah, you gotta go, hold on, let me get a piece of paper, I'm gonna show you how it works out.
Xbox, like it spells it out.
Yeah.
But
for me, when they were talking about the specs on it, flew over my head. I was
teraflops, this and that.
Cool.
Great.
I turned to my associate who builds computers. I'm like, is that good? He's like, that's really good. And I was like, okay, awesome. Good to know. But I think the idea of actual 4K gaming is going to be neat. Now I'm going to buy 4K TV because
at least it's late enough in the cycle for 4K that you can get a reasonably priced 4K.
Well, and that's kind of what I was waiting for. I was waiting for a reason. I was waiting for 4K to actually be a thing.
See, and that actually ties into what we were talking about with the games, where you can get them at full price with the season pass and stuff like that.
Right.
Or you can wait and get them cheaper. I'm the opposite side of that.
Right.
I got my TV when 4K was just starting.
Yeah.
I spent $1,300 on that thing. I have no regrets about it. But like last Christmas, that same model TV is like $700.
Yeah.
Fuck my life.
Though that happened years ago when our buddy Adam bought a plasma screen TV. He spent $1,300 on it at Circuit City. That was a place.
Holy shit!
But he looked into it like he was online looking up like the difference between plasma and LCD and trying to find out which had the darkest darks, which ones had the whitest whites. And he was in it, and he's like, this is the one I want. I'm going to get a 42-inch plasma screen TV. Spent $1,300 on it. 2 years later, that same TV was $500.
Jesus.
And I was like, dude, that TV you bought, it's $500 now. And he gave, he's not the smartest guy, but he was like, well, I've had that TV for 2.5 years. I've gotten enjoyment out of it.
Exactly.
So,
and that's where I'm at with my 4K TV. Like, I've had it for 3-4 years now, and I've been playing games. Granted, the games aren't running in 4K, but
they look cleaner.
Yeah, dude, they look so good.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then Netflix and what do you call it? Vudu, they use
4K streaming.
4K streaming.
Yeah.
And it looks nuts. But yeah, you were saying about the Xbox One. Sorry.
Yeah. So now I'm thinking about upgrading to 4K, which is great because it's funny how all this stuff ties together. Now that Xbox is getting 4K, Sony has the PS4 Pro, which does 4K streaming and then does up-res things and makes them look cleaner and crisper, run at a faster frame rate. Now people are going to actually start wanting to invest in 4K TVs. People who had no desire, now are going to be like, oh, this is going to drive that market up. So it's always that rubber band effect kind of where you've got 4K coming out and then the consoles get into it and then snap comes together and it's like, oh, okay, that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny just how that stuff kind of works out. But yeah, have you thought of anything funny that happened to you at work recently? Like anything over the phone or anything that's any one of your regulars just like. I
have a regular that
Teddy.
Oh yeah,
the one that acts like Teddy from Bob's Burgers.
I'll talk about Ron. This guy, Matt can attest to this.
Yes. This
guy is straight up. He's Teddy from Bob's Burgers. He almost sounds the same too, which is insane to me. I love Ron. I didn't get him at first because I treat him just like a regular customer when he first came in. Oh, what can I help you find? You're like, whatever. And then I find out, I came to realize that after a couple of times we'd visit, like, oh, he's asking the same exact questions over and over.
Yeah.
And Ron, I think he's
on the spectrum probably.
Yeah, he's on there.
Yeah.
But man, he's so funny. Like, I think the first thing I remember him is just always talking about Resident Evil. He's like, oh, Resident Evil 7's coming out. You excited? I'm like, oh yeah, you got it, Ron. I'm so stoked. And just always talks about Resident Evil. And now the current thing is, because Resident Evil 7 already came out this year, oh, if we're going to get the Resident Evil 2 remake? Maybe, Ron. I hope so.
It's funny because, like, him talking to you, like, because, like, when if you and I were working together, it would literally be, he would like, kind of step past me to talk to you. And if he called, like, it wouldn't surprise me if he called you Bobby, like Ted does in Bob's Burgers, and just be like, It's pretty good, huh? It's pretty good, right? Yeah, it's good. It's like, yeah, it's good. It's cool. It's gonna be awesome. I'm really excited about it. But yeah, God, it's so funny. Yeah, wow. So
that dude only buys like 3 games a year, and he's just jacked about them all year long.
But he comes in like every other day.
Every day, he's always got his drink from the Minute Mart, a big drink that he's got from the Minute Mart, and just be slurping on that, and then talking, and then he'll come and like, hey, you see that new movie yet? And like, which one? He's like, oh, I saw that new new release title here.
Right.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, hey, how's it going, Ron? Like, what do you do today? He's like, oh, I watched this new movie. And then that son of a bitch, though, he spoils movies without intending to spoil them.
Yeah, that's the worst. Hey, honey.
Hello.
Donuts and Taco Bell?
That's exciting.
What are you talking about? We didn't have Taco Bell.
Yeah, we did. We ate the shit out of some Taco Bell.
Whoops. Sorry.
Wait, are you guys talking?
Yeah.
Ah!
You're on it. You're on it now. Episode 1.
Episode 1. You got it.
Why do you think we have this out? Of course, you just now you clam up. But you've recorded a podcast before I had.
All right.
Yep, there it is. Just not gonna say anything. But,
yeah, I saw. So Ron came in and he was talking about how he had seen the movie Life, and I won't give the spoiler, but he's like, oh yeah, that thing that this happened at the end. Like, Ron, you son of a bitch! I wanted to watch that movie. Why would you say that? I was like, oh no, it's a really good movie though. Like,
yeah, he just didn't realize that the turn was going to be one of the selling points for you. Like, oh, yeah. I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah. I still watched it.
Yeah,
but like when the thing happened,
right?
I'm like, oh yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah,
there it is.
Oh my gosh!
So now when he comes in, he's like, oh, you see that new movie? Like he almost did it for Wonder Woman, but I was like, Ron, don't say anything.
Let me stop you now.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I saw that Wonder Woman. It was really like, don't tell me anything. Don't say a word about the movie. Was it good? Yeah. Okay, that's it. That's all I need to know.
Good. Done.
Okay, that's really good.
Thank you.
Kind of yammers like, la la la.
Yeah, that's the same thing with video games too. Is customers will come in not realizing like that we don't go home and play every game immediately.
Wait, we don't play every game immediately after it comes out?
Come on. We got other things to do.
Yeah, I got a store to run.
Yeah, I got shit to do. But yeah, it. I mean, one of my guys got Batman Arkham Knight spoiled for him like the day after it came out.
Oh, almost like how like however many years ago I basically ruined Arkham Asylum for you by playing through the entire game.
I mean, you didn't ruin it. You just delayed me playing it
because you had already seen the whole.
Yeah, I'd seen a lot of it, and I mean, either way, I mean, it became one of my favorite franchises to this day. It's so good. That fighting, mechanics and everything.
That one game, Arkham Asylum, that I was able to 100% before you, and then all of a sudden that quickly changed with every game after. Son of a bitch.
It's funny, but so I mean, speaking of movies, I mean, Wonder Woman was awesome.
Wonder Woman was really good.
I can't believe coming from that studio, from Man of Steel, Broody Superman, and then Batman v Superman, which I'd give it probably a solid 5, maybe a 6.
I can go with that. It was enjoyable to watch, but I found myself face palming.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes where I was just like, oh, why'd you go with this? And it's such a long movie; they could have cut a lot of it. Like there was no reason for a lot of that stuff to be in it. So I was just kind of like, meh. But Wonder Woman, I think I had a smile on my face the whole movie.
Yeah,
I was genuinely thrilled by it. I think the very quick origin, like just young Diana going to being, a young woman, and then basically fish out of water story.
Yeah,
turn into a big fight. I think it was awesome. Like,
it was really good, well done.
And it's funny that all these these people are outraged by the idea of a woman's only screening at the Alamo Drafthouse.
Oh my
god! It's like, guys, it's one theater, it's one showing. It's not like they're dedicating one screen to just women. It's not like they're segregating. They're just saying, no. This is just for the ladies that want to enjoy Wonder Woman as women. Sure.
It's a celebration.
Yeah, it's like, go to a Regal, go to an AMC, Go to your local like mom and pop theater, whatever, and go see the movie.
Yeah.
So you can't go see it there. Wah, cry about it. Yeah. But the movie, I think, it did such a good job of promoting femininity. You know, the women being powerful without taking away from masculinity.
Yeah.
I thought that was they did a good job with like
Steve Trevor.
Yeah, so like
he was still awesome.
He wasn't a bumbling ding dong. He wasn't you know, completely useless, even though he was teamed up with, you know, at that point the most powerful person on the planet.
Yeah.
It is crazy. They did such a good job balancing everything, and I'm hoping that was due to some of Joss Whedon's input, because I know he had some say in the final cut, because, you know, unfortunately what happened to Zack Snyder's family.
Yeah.
He's been tapped to help out, which I'm super excited for him.
Dude, he did awesome with Avengers. So
I mean, I wish that wouldn't have happened. The events wouldn't have taken place to take Snyder
Absolutely.
out of the franchise. I wished him out of the franchise
for other
reasons. I mean, Suicide Squad made me want to commit suicide because that movie was trash and I couldn't even finish it.
Yeah, that's bad.
It was unfunny. It was. None of the characters were enjoyable. Well, there was a few characters that were enjoyable.
Yeah.
But for the most part, why? Just...
Yeah, it was bad.
I don't know. But I can go off on that for days if I wanted to. But...
Did you see Power Rangers?
No, not yet.
Oh, that was way better than it had any right to be.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, and I've just been too lazy to go out of my way to go get it.
Yeah. So...
I'll see it eventually. I mean, I liked it when I was like in kindergarten, and so I think I'll probably go back to it. But the 90s like reboots and stuff are fun. I don't know, just yeah.
I'm actually catching up on Flash right now.
Oh my gosh,
I'm really liking that.
Yeah, and that's another thing I can go off about. You know, why the DC universe has to be split up the way it's split up when they already have an existing Flash, they have an existing Green Arrow, Supergirl, characters from Legends of Tomorrow. Why are they separate from the movies? Because Marvel, that's all together.
Yeah,
it's all one universe.
It's a shared universe.
It's so what's happening in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is happening in the same universe that is in Thor Ragnarok and you know, the Avengers, and they do a really good job of tying it in, but also not making it. And let's talk about the Netflix ones. I mean, Daredevil, Punisher.
They're all tied in the MCU as well. I mean, it's quite a bit more minor for the Netflix ones,
right? But
they reference events that happen in the movies.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Daredevil season 1, they reference the alien attack in Avengers as being like a catalyst for, you know,
why Hell's Kitchen's all jacked up.
And these power vacuums that came out of it, and it's just like you don't have to be super overt with it, and it's such a small sector of that world, but it still exists in those worlds, and it's a shame that they couldn't have brought Barry Allen from the TV show, who's so enjoyable, into the Justice League as Barry Allen.
I mean, what we've seen so far from the trailers for Justice League, I wasn't real keen on Ezra Miller being the Flash, but what we've seen so far, I'm okay with it. Like, he actually seems like he'll be pretty funny.
I like him as an actor.
He'll be fun.
And I think, given like if there hadn't been a Flash TV show and had there not been an established Grant Gustin Barry Allen, I would be more excited about be like, oh yeah, Ezra Miller, great choice, really funny, he can banter, because that's kind of Flash's thing. And I think that he, you know, would work well with the team that they've assembled. And now after seeing Wonder Woman and seeing how much fun that movie was, there was sunshine in the movie. There
it wasn't just dark the whole time.
I was gonna say, can you think of a time in Batman v Superman where the sun came out? I mean, it broke from the clouds when Superman was like saving people from the rooftops and during the flood.
I think that's it.
That's it. It was dark though. Like everything around it was cloudy and bullshit. And you're just like, why does this movie have to? Why does every character have to be Batman? Like, Batman is the dark brooding character. He's the one that has to shoulder the pain of his dead parents and all this bad stuff. Yeah, Superman's whole planet was destroyed, but he didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
He didn't have an emotional connection to that. And he can relive his dad at the Fortress of Solitude and see him and talk to him. I mean, it's an AI, but still.
Yeah.
Bruce doesn't have that.
No.
He's a kid, his parents die, he has to live with their legacy, and, you know, he's the dark character. Superman's supposed to be the Boy Scout. He's supposed to be the, you know, the all-American, go get 'em. Let's work together.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, besides like the Injustice storyline of him being like the bad guy and the supreme, you know, jerkwad.
Oh my god. He's
of
such
all
a fuckface in Injustice.
Yeah. It's insane. But oh my gosh. He's so stupid. But yeah.
I want to talk about games again.
Okay. Well, yeah, sure.
I only say this because I just randomly got
Okay.
the thought of Nintendo's conference.
We totally glossed over that.
Yeah, their little spotlight they did. So we had known going in that it was only going to be like a 25-minute Nintendo Direct is what they do. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to expect much. I mean, I have my one prediction that I make every year from Nintendo. That's
New Metroid.
Yeah, New Metroid. I have every year.
Every year.
And I get disappointed every single year. It's whatever. I mean, it's only been like almost 10 years since the last good Metroid games, but yeah, who's counting?
Sure.
So I make that prediction every year, and on my blog I actually made the prediction again of a new Metroid, but I decided to kind of up the stakes this year just for shits and giggles. I was like, you know what? Not only are they going to announce a new Metroid for the Switch, they're going to announce, going out on a limb here, a new 2.5D side-scrolling Metroid game for the 3DS, and it's going to come out this holiday before Mario Odyssey does. And holy fucking shit! When I was watching the Nintendo coverage, they announced Prime 4 confirmed to be in development, no footage, anything like that.
Of course,
which is fine. But all I needed was that logo to confirm that it is a thing.
Yeah,
they are working on it. So we're going to see that next year, hopefully. And then they ended their little presentation like, oh man, that's awesome. They confirmed what I wanted to hear. And then not even like 20 minutes later during their like live stream event, they showed a new 2.5D Metroid for the 3DS confirmed to come out before Mario Odyssey this fall. I was like, damn, I could not have been more on the nose.
Yeah,
even though it was a fucking fake ass prediction.
Yeah, it just I mean, you took a swing and it connected. So
yeah.
that was good.
I'm going to quit my job and go into fortune telling. I'm going to win the lotto.
I share it. I would love it, and then we can just live off that for
there we go.
just interest. But
bro, I'm so excited for a new Metroid.
Yeah,
two of them.
Oh my gosh, I still have yet to play that Prime trilogy you got me years ago.
One day.
One of these days I will. I have my Wii still. I have my Wii U. I have the game. I won't trade it in, no matter how much credit's going for it. Because I know I could get a lot for it, but I couldn't do that because that'd be just shitty. No,
thank you.
Yeah,
I respect that.
Yeah. And I'll get to it. And I've had a few of my associates go, "You have it?" I'm like, "Yeah, you should play it. It's good. You'll really like it." I'm like, yeah.
It really is the definitive way to play those games.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime games. Like, even though Prime 1 and 2 came out on the GameCube and 3 came out by itself on the Wii, the trilogy made Prime 1 and 2 like with Wii controls.
Mm-hmm.
And to most people that would sound awful, but it really does make the game better.
Yeah.
Because in the original Prime 1 and 2, in order to free aim, you have to stop moving, and because it didn't have twin stick controls, it wasn't dual analog. It was the left stick controlled your movement, and you rotated as well as moved forward and back, rather than moving forward and back and strafing.
Uh-huh.
And in order to look up or look down, you had to hold the R trigger, and you plant your feet, and then you can look wherever you wanted.
Okay. Weird.
They kind of got around that a little bit by holding L trigger to lock onto enemies.
Okay.
But in the Prime trilogy for the Wii, the I guess the Z trigger on the nunchuck,
right?
It, rather than locking your cursor, like your aiming cursor on the enemy, it locks your camera on the enemy. So you still have to point at them with your Wii remote.
But
it locks the camera on them. So you can actually lock onto them with the camera and aim at weak spots at different locations on the screen.
That's nice.
Dude, it's awesome.
Yeah.
They did a really good job with that. Yeah, God, Metroid's so good.
Yeah. I mean, and we talked about it earlier, but the Batman Arkham series, from that came the Shadow of series. So
dude.
Shadow of Mordor was the first game I played on next gen. Well, I guess now it's current gen.
Yeah.
100% of that, of course, because
dang, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
I'm playing through it again.
I didn't do the Game of the Year content.
Oh, okay.
But I 100%ed the base game, and because it has the right kind of collectibles for me.
Yeah.
And Shadow of War looks like that just amped up.
I just saw a video for that yesterday. Did you know you can ride dragons?
Yes.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. And there's dragons still? What?
Yeah.
How? Where did those come from?
Yeah.
The idea of building up an army and then controlling them to siege fortresses and castles and do all that. I think, I didn't know where they were going to go from the first one because, spoiler alert, at the end you control a mass of war chiefs and you attack basically the head of the army of Mordor before Sauron arrives.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, so you won. Now what? There's not. Where else do you go from there? And they're like, oh, we're gonna make this even better.
Yeah.
That ring of power that you have, and the abilities you're gonna get are gonna be even better.
It's so good.
Yeah, I cannot wait. The alpha footage I saw a month back, I was just blown away that it wasn't I was like, it's coming out this soon, this year.
Coming out in October.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I think for me that's so far. I think that's my most anticipated thing to come out now. Horizon Zero Dawn blew me away.
Yeah. Coming out with the DLC for that.
I can't wait. That game left me wanting more, and it
in a good way though.
Oh yeah, I completed it and I was sad because I was like, oh my gosh.
I never got around to finishing that one only because it came out 3 days before Zelda.
Oh dude, you need to finish it. It's I don't know how far you got into it, but
only fudge. I don't know. I couldn't describe it for you.
It's funny that you said fudge. Yeah. You're trying to limit your you're I'm not gonna swear so much right now, so that's what I'm gonna do. But
don't like to do them cusses.
I don't want to be all the swears, doing all the swears. But no, I was expecting just a tribal girl's story of growing up and becoming a warrior, but the story that it told and the complete hopelessness that happened to cause what happened to Earth.
That's what I'm intrigued about.
Oh my gosh, I teared up multiple parts. I was just
excited.
You're getting to know characters that don't exist anymore. Oh wow. And you're because you're hearing audio recordings, you're seeing the holo vids and the sequence of events that take place to cause Earth to basically become a uninhabitable place to be. Why Aloy is basically tapped as this messiah kind of, and gotcha. It starts off with her trying to find out who her mother is, mm-hmm. and then it just unravels into this crazy, twisted, just what the fuck, just I had no idea. They a lot of times with these post-apocalyptic things, they kind of leave them close-ended, mm-hmm. and you kind of just have to infer, and to some extent that's kind of nice because then you can just let your imagination run wild and you can go wherever you want with it. But at the same time, it's nice to know, why did this happen? And also, why are these robots running around?
Why do they look like dinosaurs?
Yeah, why do they look like dinosaurs and saber-tooth tigers? That? Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's very neat, and I highly recommend. Do you have it? Do you own it?
I don't own the game.
You don't own it. Oh, you should have. Dude, it's $40 now.
I know.
Days of play, bro.
Fucking broke as shit.
You get paid tomorrow. You should buy it. Dude, oh my god, it's so worth it. If I had it on disc, I would let you borrow it.
That's right, you have a digital copy.
I have a digital copy, but if I had it on disc, I would throw it in your hands right now and be like, dude, you need to finish this game.
All right, bye. So you can just be
Right.
done with the podcast.
I mean,
later.
Yeah, see you. Ooh, I'm done. But no, it's so good. I like the combat, the bow mechanics, just everything about it was super fun. So far for me, that is game of the year. And this has happened to me twice now, where the game I'm most excited about has not been the game that has given me the most joy. Like Witcher 3 was the one that got me. The year that Fallout 4 and the year that Batman Arkham Knight came out.
Yeah, actually, Witcher was my favorite.
And
that year.
that blew me away.
My favorite game of the year kind of surprised me. It was not Uncharted 4. It was actually Titanfall 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Over Overwatch?
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, I loved Overwatch.
Yeah.
But Titanfall 2 blew me away last year.
It's funny, one of my guys was actually talking about how that was, to him, was the most underrated game of last year in terms of...
Game's only $20 right now.
Yeah, well, and the fact that it came out after the first Titanfall came out, which had a lot of hype behind it, because it was the developers from the original Infinity Ward.
That's right, the original Call of Duty.
Yeah, they became Respawn Entertainment.
Modern Warfare developers.
Right, they did. They left Activision after the events of Modern Warfare 2 and all that stuff unraveled, and they went and formed their own company, and it took them a long time to put this together. And a lot of people were very excited about it, and they were disappointed by Titanfall 1's lack of story.
It had no campaign mode, it was just multiplayer.
Right.
And they created this awesome universe without any context to it.
Yeah, and it felt kind of papery. Like there wasn't.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like they put up like a fake wall of like, here, this is this thing, and then you're in this little arena and you're battling it out, but you want more from it. And I mean, I only saw you play a little bit of Titanfall 2, but I mean, it looked awesome.
It's awesome. I mean, the multiplayer stuff, they only improved on it. It just got better. But they also added the campaign. It was a fully fleshed out story between, Joe character here. I think his name's Jack Cooper. Like the most video game ass name I've ever heard.
Of course. Jack Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Really. And his Titan, BT.
Right.
And they kind of show that like the Titans have their AI in them, and they're linked to pilots.
Okay.
Like they're paired up, and the game starts, and it's not really a spoiler because it's the first freaking 10 minutes of the game. The BT's original pilot gets killed because he's like captured or something like that. He gets killed.
Okay.
And Jack Cooper, he ends up being linked to BT.
Okay.
And through the game, they're trying to like kind of partner up. Jack needs to get some shit done, and he needs BT to do it. BT needs to get back to HQ, but he needs Jack to get him there.
Okay. That
sort of thing.
So instead of the Titans being a throwaway piece of armor or a weapon, they're more of a...
They're
companion.
like their own characters, yeah.
Okay.
I think BT is the main character of the game, to be honest.
Wow, okay.
It was a weird comparison, but it's very Big Hero 6.
Okay.
Like...
Yeah.
The main character and what's his face? Baymax. Like they're partners.
But Baymax ends up being the breakout star.
Yeah, exactly.
And the one that you feel for. But I guess the ending of that, again, spoilers. The end of that movie just gave you all the feelings, and you're like,
God.
But there's got to be a way that they can get back together. And I mean, it ends up happening where they do, but it makes you really sad that this.
An inanimate object gave you feelings
with fake intelligence, essentially.
Yeah.
That you feel sad. Not only is it a cartoon, but it is a character. It's a fictitious robot that doesn't exist, and you're like, oh man, what? No, I need it.
But man, it was super good. Like they had a lot of like kind of like blockbuster movie moments during the campaign and.
Back to Titanfall 2 is what we're talking about.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Titanfall 2 stuff.
Yeah.
But man, it was super good.
Yeah.
I didn't think I knew I would like it because I loved the first game.
Right.
I was the crazy person that spent $250 on a collector's edition of a brand new IP, which is a dumb thing to do.
Semi brand new IP.
Yeah, I mean, at least it was from a renowned development team. So.
What, you're talking about Titanfall 2?
No, sorry. The collector's edition of Titanfall 1
Gotcha.
is the one I bought the collector's edition for.
Okay, right.
$250, came with a big-ass Titan.
Yeah, the huge box.
This was, I went into this, I was like, I want that robot. I don't know if the game's going to be that good. It could suck. but I'm spending $250 on that robot.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's...
Good thing I ended up loving that game. But, yeah, man, Titanfall 2, I was like, I'm going to love it. It'll be awesome, and it was my favorite.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
You said, so you said Horizon might be your game of the year this year.
Yes.
I think that, I'm not going to try and, like, force your opinion, but I think that might be because you haven't had a chance to play Zelda yet.
I mean, that's probably true. The only thing that might change my mind on that, it might be because the games that have surprised me have ended up being my favorites, because I mean,
sure.
Injustice 2, I wasn't really too psyched on it, but after playing it, I'm enjoying it. It's got a lot of replay value that I was not expecting from a
good
fighting
story.
game. Yep.
All the characters you like.
Yep.
Customization.
Loot.
Yeah.
Treasures.
Dude, it's awesome.
So I think, yeah, like with having the weight of all the other Zeldas that I've enjoyed being on Breath of the Wild,
sure,
and also hearing about Breath of the Wild,
that could be a deterrent for you too,
from other customers and people coming in and going, "Oh man, Zelda's so good! It's good." I've played a little bit of it. I mean, I've only played in the
oh, that's right, you played that little
in the field. I played it at conference, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this game is so good! It looks great!" And it's just, I got a 20-minute tease out of it, and I got to dink around in the Hyrule field on one of my coworkers' Switches. But yeah, it's tricky because I like you said, I haven't got a chance to play a ton of it, so
it is the biggest map I've ever seen in a game,
and that might be a deterrent, because that was a problem that I had with Fallout 4. Is like, I felt like there was too much to do, and I didn't have enough time to do it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to complete a lot of things that weren't really completable.
What I love about how they did Zelda this time around for the open map is, where other open world games or sandbox games have icons on the map that you then can fast travel to and all that stuff. Right. Where it's just, like, as soon as you open up an area, you're just littered with icons.
Right.
That's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Whereas Zelda, you are creating those icons on your map because you're bookmarking things.
Oh, so you basically have to save spots yourself on your maps.
Yeah. So like, and it's so great that they do. So they have a stamp feature.
Okay.
They have different kinds. You have like a sword stamp, a shield stamp, so that we can like, oh, that's what this icon on the map is going to be. It'll take me to a cache of weapons.
Okay.
Or this one will be like a tough enemy. I know he's going to be right there.
Okay.
And then you have these other kind of stamps they'll create a beacon of light in different colors, shooting into the sky. When you use your essentially your binoculars to look around the world.
Right. When
you see that type of stamp, it'll just be a pillar of color. Like, oh, okay, so I can find that within the game just by looking.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and you can tag, like, when you're looking through your binoculars, you click the right stick and you put that colored stamp on something. So like, I will be able to see it. It's that there in the distance. I will go to it later.
So you don't have to physically be there and know to open your map and put a stamp down.
Exactly.
You can do it real time in game.
Yeah, and that's so, like, when you open up, you'll find these towers that, if you've ever played any Assassin's Creed or any Ubisoft game, basically,
right,
you'll find a tower and it reveals part of the map.
Just like in Shadow of Mordor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. But in Shadow of Mordor, not only does it reveal that part of the map, it shows where missions are, shows where icons are, like specific collectibles on the map. Zelda, it only reveals the map topography.
So it'll give you, like, here's water, here's cliff, here's...
Because before you find that, the map is just blurry, like, blackness, basically.
Jeez.
You cannot see anything, and then when you open your map, when you're in those areas, you only see your arrow.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like, and then, or stamps, if you put stamps down, but, like, there's no...
It doesn't do anything.
I mean, those points aren't...
They're meaningless.
Relative on a map with no picture.
Right. You could just throw things down.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you wanted to be a complete, like, just time waster, you could go online and find out where everything's located on the map, and then go into your map in game and just start marking stuff.
Yeah, you could.
And be like, oh, this is a place I'm going to want to go because, GameFAQs said this is where the best shield is, or whatever.
And you could do that, and that could be fun for some people. But part of the reason why this game was so great is because you get to discover things the way you want to.
Right. That's super cool. And it was funny. It's funny that you're talking about all this stuff, and I haven't heard like any of this from anybody really.
Oh, nobody's told you this before.
Oh, well, one, I haven't really gone into it myself because I kind of want to go into it as blind as possible. And you're doing a good job of not like spoiling any boss fights or any finishing game stuff that's going to be like, oh, that's what it is. Oh, well, that kind of sucks. But the idea of because that's one thing I loved about like Morrowind back in the day was it literally just threw you in the game, and the map, like you said, it's just one color, and until you discover a large amount of that area, it stays blank. And there was no fast travel besides the places that from going to point
exactly
that you knew of. So like you had to know, oh, I gotta go to the Silt Striders. Oh, I gotta go to the boats. Oh, I gotta go to the Mages Guild to pay to go someplace sooner, rather than just being able to click a spot on the map and immediately show up there. And I think those kinds of games are where I found a lot of common ground with like friends and stuff like that. So like for Jason, with Jason example, he and I, we talked about Morrowind around the time we started playing like Smash Bros every Sunday when we had Smash Sundays. Talking about Morrowind, playing Hexic of all things before Halo 3 ODST came out, and just those little pieces of common ground, because by and large he and I are very different people. We only have a few things in common, but those few things we latch onto them, and we're just like, oh, we're great friends now. This is, I mean, at one point when everybody had kind of dispersed throughout the world, and there wasn't anybody around, he and I still, we were still in the same town. Yeah. So we'd be like, Smash Sunday, it's me and you. Yeah. Let's team up. Let's just play against each other 1-on-1 for 4 hours or whatever. Whatever it ended up being. So I don't feel like there's enough of that anymore. Where these little things that you can talk about because it's been talked to death. Yeah. There's not enough of that anymore. And I think that's cool that Zelda has kind of brought that back of like, it's a true just sandbox. Yeah. Like you have to play in it to really find everything.
And like things that people are saying about it, they're no joke. Like when people say that, oh, every time I play it I find something new. Like it is the most true statement I've ever like felt with that game. I played that game 3 days ago, and I've been playing it since it first launched. Right. I just learned that there's an enemy that, rather than fighting it, you could literally just pick it up and throw it, and it breaks.
Jesus.
Yep. You don't have to fight it. You just pick him up, and you like throw, he lands on his head, and he breaks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. Good. Yeah, that's... Jeez. That's so funny. Well, yeah, so... We've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah. So
probably call it good.
Yeah, I think so. This is super fun. I think once especially me gets a little bit more comfortable with the format, I think we'll have some fun with it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's our thing. We'll do whatever the fuck we want with it. All right. Like we said, it's just a conversation between friends. We'll fucking talk about stuff.
I'm excited to get friends that are in different places of work. Yeah. And that was a stupid way to say it. But different career paths.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like you said, we have a friend who's a
police officer.
We
got someone that works administration for a college. Mm-hmm. We've got somebody that works does screen printing. We've got we got a friend that sells ad space. I mean, it's funny, but I mean, the idea of retail therapy is just interactions that we have, and obviously today, I mean, it was mostly a conversation between two people that work in the same, exactly the same spot. Like we work 10 miles from each other in the same company. We're gonna have a lot of the same stories, but it's fun to get together after a week of not seeing each other and being like, so what's new with you? I mean, we've got so much that we can discuss. I mean, Nowell is getting married. He's engaged right now, which, I mean, I want to get that out there so that we can look back on it and be like, hey, this is you, apartment life.
Yep.
You know, pre-marriage life. Like, this is a time in your life where it's like, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And
excited.
we're also on the precipice of 30 years old.
Yeah. Fuck.
I mean, like, your birthday is September. You're turning
29.
29. And I'm turning 30 in January.
Dude.
So, I mean, you were a graduating class behind me?
I think so. Yeah, I was 2006.
I was 2006. So
okay, we're same class then.
So you were just young for your grade.
I didn't turn 18 until the September after I graduated.
Okay, so you were.
I was a baby.
Yeah, you were probably the youngest you could possibly be for your class.
Just about. I actually there's a friend that went to the same school as me. We had the same birthday, and like same year, same date. He was a class below me. Like, I was supposed to be in his class.
Right. So you kind of.
I was just a baby in my class.
Yeah, so you're just the youngin', but it's. I mean, we're coming up on that mile marker of you're turning 30. You know, like what's it gonna do? And I mean, you hear it everywhere. You hear it on almost every single podcast. Growing up isn't really a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you get older, you learn some things, but adults, when we were kids, I mean, my parents were younger than I am right now. I mean, my mom was 21 when I was born. My dad was 23. When I was 23, there's no way I would have been ready for kids in a house and and all that responsibility.
I'm barely ready for that now.
Yeah, it's nuts. So I just think the idea of growing up is kind of a fake thing.
Is Jason coming over?
What? Jason's here.
Yeah, he's gonna be
cool. Wow, that's a perfect time to wrap up.
Yeah.
but yeah,
we'll have him on next time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he won't say much because he doesn't ever say anything anyway. I mean, I guess unless we ask him direct questions.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the going back to that, I mean, the idea of growing up, not really a thing. You kind of stay the age you want to be, and you just be responsible.
And shit, even like. Yes, I've grown up as far as my age, but I'm still interested in the same bullshit I was when I was a kid.
True.
I'm a fucking man-child.
Yeah, you're still gonna, get the latest and greatest Zelda game and be as giddy about it as you were when you were a kid. Yep. Now you're spending your own money on it. You don't have to wait for your parents to pay for it for you.
Fuck that. I don't gotta wait till Christmas. I'll buy it myself.
Yes, exactly. All right, so...
So that was our retail therapy podcast, and we'll try and do this as often as we can, ideally weekly.
Noel, what's your Twitter?
My Twitter, I am at the Grassy Noel. The Grassy GRASSY, and my name is NOWELL.
That's gonna be fun to explain every time.
Yeah.
And then your WordPress blog.
It's pressstartforsingleplayer.wordpress.com.
Nice. And I'm xmattleyx. Pretty much everywhere you would find me. Twitter, Instagram.
Instagram is the same as my Twitter.
And wherever else. So, yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.